Welcome to Swarly Sarcastic Syllabus. Today we're going to be talking about a relatively new show, RWBY. Or it's phonetically pronounced, RWBY. Now I know some of you must be looking at me going, who's RWBY? Well, the answer to that is, RWBY is not only the name of the show, but it's also the name of the main team and the main protagonist. So far, I just finished season 1, and it's a pretty good show.
What do you mean? It was incredible!
Right off the bat, we're given the World 101. The world being vital, and in Vital's history, humans had been driven to the brink of extinction, to the discovery of the power-giving dust that gave humans command over the different elements of nature, such as ice, wind, and fire 3. Dust has no affiliation with materia, mana, or the life stream. This gave man the power to fight back against his main predator, creatures of the darkness, the Grimm. Thus turning the tide, pushing back the darkness, and ending up back on top of the food chain. Flash forward to today, where our cast is headed to Beacon Academy, which has no affiliation to Balam Garden, for training to become hunters and huntresses, fighters of the Grimm. Taught by Professor Ozpin, who is a headmaster sort of person, I guess, and Glenda Goodwitch. Not that I think that Professor Ozpin and Glenda Goodwitch are based off of Quizits and Sid from Final Fantasy VIII at Balam Garden. No, nothing like that. Well, actually, they are based off of something. But it's not Final Fantasy VIII. I'll get to that later. They're based off of fairy tale characters. Ozpin, obviously. Wizard of Oz. Glenda Goodwitch. The Good Witch of the East? West? I haven't watched Wizard of Oz in a while. Give me a break here. But still, the majority of characters in this show, if not all of them, are an allusion one way or another to fairy tale characters, whether it be just simple character design, name, slight backstory. I'm going to interrupt real quick right now just to get this off my chest before the pitchforks come out. Yes, I am going to make fun a lot of the Final Fantasy similarities here. I just want to point out that the main visionary creator of this show, Monty is a Final Fantasy fan. One of his very first claims to fame being the Dead Fantasy series, where he pits DOA and Final Fantasy characters against each other in epic fights. If you haven't seen them, go look it up. So, if you're a Final Fantasy fan, you might see some similarities to Balam Garden and Beacon, or Dust and Materia, but some of these are themes that have been done over and over again. The idea for a school for training warriors of might and magic to save the world is not something new. You're a wizard, Harry. A school makes a great setting for young character development and is a decent way of reaching out to an audience that can universally relate to the classes and homework and drama that happens between the kick-ass and sass. Talking about my two favorite characters, let's go back to the sisters.
By no means does this make us friends. You came back!
RWBY, our main protagonist, is an allusion to Little Red Riding Hood. She wears the same telltale hood, but with a personality unlike her fairy tale counterpart. She is fast, quick-witted, and with an almost reckless abandon while fighting, she is a force to be reckoned with, whether the opponent is Grimm or human. Her confidence in fighting does not carry over to a social setting though. She is a bit self-conscious and shy, but eventually opens up to her team at least. Impressed by her abilities as a scythe user, Professor Ozpin offered RWBY the chance to skip ahead 2 years early from her junior academy at Signal to the more advanced Beacon Academy.
They taught you to use one of the most dangerous weapons ever designed?
Now scythe users are rare apparently, probably due to them being dangerous for the user to wield. And rightfully so. Her scythe is no ordinary scythe. This is the Crescent Rose, with a built-in bolt-action high-powered rifle. Top of the line, custom made. That's right, this sweet baby was made by RWBY herself. Razor-sharp blade, cobalt red steel, and a hair trigger.
It's also a customizable, high-impact sniper rifle.
Yang, RWBY's older sister, is the more mature of the two, sporting a really awesome pair of gauntlets. Ember, Cecilia are Gauntlet's names, and bringing the pain is their game. Kept as bracelets when they're not in use, Yang's gauntlets extend over her gloves when it's time to fight. She can fire explosive rounds from them as she punches. Even though it loads with what seems to be shotgun shells, there are never any bullet holes, leaving me to believe that it's a type of flame dust being used. Speaking of flames, don't piss her off or her protective aura will light on fire. Also, don't mess with her hair. Oh right, aura. That's another pseudo-magical thing that I kind of forgot to talk about. It's the embodiment of somebody's soul sort of made into a force of some sort. Not that sort of force. Almost more like an AT field used to block or maybe even push things back, offensively or defensively. Sparta chick will talk about it more in episode 7 if you're really interested in the definitive definition of that. Next. The other two members of Team RWBY are Weiss and Blake, respectively based off of Snow White and Belle. Weiss on the outside looks like the rich privileged kid, but from some of her social interactions and the trailer that they give us, gives me the idea that she's been groomed all of her life by her parents, never really given the chance to make her own decisions.
Head up, shoulders back, right foot forward. Not that forward. Stop telling me what to do!
Thus, the opera scene, possibly her parents showing off their pride and joy to all their friends. But the fight with the empty armor at the same time, it's not a Grimm, so do you think it's maybe a man-made armor for some sort of trial or rite of passage? Her song is just so sad too. Even though she wins the fight at the end and sings a flawless concert, there's still a lingering sense of sadness left behind. The same for Blake. Her trailer, Black, shows her working with a partner to infiltrate a moving armored train. They successfully infiltrate and defeat their foes, only in the end for Blake to leave her partner behind. The decision to bail did seem a bit premeditated, but not concrete till the exchange with her partner about the lives of their foes.
What about the crew members?
What about them?
In the series, she seems to have been withdrawn, sticking to her books, much like her namesake Belle, running away from reality, it almost seems.
Unfortunately, the real world isn't the same as a fairy tale.
Now, onto the human villain side. We have Junior, one of the first human villains we are introduced to in the yellow trailer, where he subsequently gets his ass handed to him by Yang. But damn if he doesn't have some class. Not rep, not swagger, but class. Him and his men are dressed to the nines in black suits, gloves, hats, and red accented shades, swords, and axes. Junior himself using the bazooka bat. Bazooka mode with mid to long range missiles and a good old baseball bat to the head for those short range opportunities just to get the job done. He's able to hold his own against Yang for a short time, but his fighting prowess pales in comparison. Rumors have him pegged as a bit of an allusion to the baby bear from Goldilocks, since the trailer is more or less Yang, thus Goldilocks trailer, and the bear DJ, not to mention his name is Junior.
Aren't you a little old to have a name like Junior?
Roman Torchwick. Another man of class, but a class all of his own. He doesn't seem to have a gang per se, just maybe paying Junior off to use his. But he does have a powerful dust user, maybe a huntress as a partner. I'd like to think that he's a little bit based off of the ultra-violence. But probably not. Actually, no. He's actually based off of Torchwick from Pinocchio. He was Pinocchio's good friend. If any of you remember the Disney cartoon, he's the guy that got turned into a donkey. Tough break.
Oh,
Nobody move!
Another thing I'm really loving about this show, which I've mentioned quite a few times, is the characters' weapons. Their designs are hell of a cool. From spear rifles to Uzi knives, the designs of the characters' weapons varies not only with ammunition options, but with dust using abilities as well. My favorite two being Nora's sledgehammer grenade launcher and Junior's bazooka bat. These weapons are used for different short and long range attacks, but also used to propel certain characters at enemies. RWBY uses her rifle shots to gain speed, while Nora uses her hammer grenades to gain height for larger, harder hammer hits. Aside from the character and weapon designs that I've been mostly drooling over this whole review, I gotta mention the Bestiary, or the Beast Guide. These beasts, the Grimm, mostly have the same contrasting designs of black bodies with skeleton armor over top. It gives them more of a supernatural look, making them more than just regular beasts. Also, are the Borbatusks related to Sonic the Hedgehog? Production roundup, behind the scenes. The show was created by Monty Oum, who is best known for being lead animator of the last 3 seasons of Red vs. Blue and the Dead Fantasy series. The show was produced by Rooster Teeth, thus using the same resources such as writers, voice actors, animators, and musical talent. The music is written by Jeff Williams and sung by his daughter Casey Lee Williams. And as far as made-for-TV music goes, it's catchy enough. The intro song sounds just as good week after week each episode, and all the music played in the show matches up pretty well. All the songs are downloadable from iTunes. I personally have bought the intro song, I Burn from the Yellow trailer, and Red Like Roses from the Red trailer. I've got to go on and talk about some of the things that have irked me just a little bit. I might be nitpicking here, and I really do kind of have to nitpick to really find anything wrong with the show, but it wouldn't be a truly unbiased review if I didn't go through a few of these. The animation, well, it can be dodgy in spots. My main example being the magically disappearing cookies from episode 1. But are her hands cookie magnets? Bend some fingers! Later on in the series, you do see a bit of finer animation in the characters. Every now and then it just... There are a few rehashed ideas and rehashed jokes that I just can't help seeing in my head the originals of some of these jokes. I'm gonna go through them right now.
Objective complete.
So many activities!
And also,
My semblance is polarity.
You can control poles. No, you dunce.
these are great jokes in themselves. They're not outright stolen or anything like that, but they do have very striking similarities, and you can see where they got the idea for the jokes from. Many other shows do this, Simpsons, Family Guy. Oh dear God, yes, I'm going to admit to this. My Little Pony does this all the time. I have a catalog in my head of how many things they've referenced for a quick laugh for adults like me that are watching their show with their niece. Yes, watching the show with my niece. And yes, Nora is a human Pinkie Pie with a grenade launching warhammer.
We'll break his legs.
And, well, I hope you were able to glean something from that garbled rant of a review.
I don't know what I'm doing.
If you like this review, comment, like, subscribe, whatevs. If you want to talk about the show, feel free to comment below, do a video comment, or even just send me a straight out message. Aside from that, I hope you enjoyed. Good night, everybody!